few days after the declaration of Lucky Aiyedatiwa of Ondo State as the winner of last Saturday's governorship election, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has rejected the results of the election. Ajayi, who said he has been studying and examining the election results across the state, disclosed that he would be heading to the tribunal to seek justice. The former deputy governor said he kept silent since the announcement of the results to enable him to investigate what he termed contents of criminality prosecuted by both the APC and INEC. Ajayi said the investigation uncovered many actions undertaken to compromise the electoral will of the people. Speaking in a statement through his special advisor, Ayo Fadaka, Ajayi said democracy could not thrive in an environment where unabated criminality was perpetrated in the prosecution of an election by INEC. To discuss this, we're joined by political analyst Henry Olonimoyo. Henry, thank you for joining us. Rejection of results and heading to court is not new. But does he have enough evidence, in your view, to sway a tribunal?
Thank you very much. The outcome of the just concluded in this election is a very unique one in that for the very first time in the history of Ondo State, the winner has swept through all the local governments. Never had that before. For election that was largely reported as peaceful, maybe it was one or two local governments, maybe joint local governments where the case of snatching of ballot box. Largely peaceful election. And then an overwhelming margin of over 200,000 votes. I do not see how Mr. Bola is seeking to overturn this in court purely on the grounds of the way, on the grounds on which the election was conducted, because INEC also displayed fantastic conduct with the election. But of course, we also know there are issues with vote buying. Now, whether you are able to, how is going to put his case on vote buying as something to rule out the election, I do not see how possible that will be. I don't see whatever maneuver that can come from the court that will raise over 200,000 votes. If it's all of that, I don't see how it intends to do, except for pre-election cases. I mean, pre-election reasons. I mean, maybe issues with roaming around the educational case of maybe the governor or his.
He is alleging that elections conducted by INEC since the APC assumed power in 2015 have continued in a tradition of hijacking the process and delivering results that were opposed to the expressed electoral will. What do you make of his allegations? I mean, from looking at what is going on, we do see that APC seems to be winning, but does that give weight to his allegations?
Yes, so firstly, if he's taking any redress in the court, his case will be really focused on what happened in the election, on the day of election in Ondo State, and will not be premised on whatever has happened in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, as the case may be solely on what happened in Ondo State. And if you look at what has happened in Ondo State, last reported by the media and by observers, that largely it was a case of willing sellers, willing buyers, and it was a business deal was struck. People sold their votes en masse, and that brought out a landslide victory for the winner. I do not see how is that can be brought up in the courts. I mean, because if you look at it, the processes that we followed were followed. As at Saturday night, 90% of the results were being uploaded on the IREC. Everything, as far as I'm concerned, even if you see the way INEC has been relating with the political parties in the build-up to the election, it's been fantastic, flawless. So I do not see anything that can overturn 400,000 plus. But I think it's typical also of the average Nigerian politician that the only election that works, that is fantastic, is the one that we win. The one I do not win, then there are issues.
I mean, also a curious part is we get to hear a lot about God and justice when this does happen. But the elections are now over. The next thing is to go to court, which is a right of every citizen in this country. There has been reviews by many observer groups that went through the process as well. What is your overall assessment of the reviews that have been presented by these various observer groups?
Yes, just to add to the litigation issue, it appears that there's this traditional need for lawyers to always ensure they get their own share of the political largesse. And that's why you see sometimes they are convincing their clients that there are cases to pursue in the courts, and maybe that's what is spoiling this. But on the overall review of the election, it's clear as day that there was massive vote buying across the 18 local governments. People willingly sold their votes. People were offered money. People sold their votes, and that vote was what was counted, and that brought about a landslide. And for me, what is probably worrying is the fact that people are no longer resisting. People are no longer trying to fight for a country again, fight for democracy. People have just resigned to fate. And for me, it's dangerous when you get to a point where the electorates don't care again. I mean, they cannot be bothered. In fact, in my polling unit, we have people who are fighting and saying they must get their money. It's not anybody's money. And I mean, literally, they're talking about bribing them to vote. That's where we are right now.
You do raise a very important. You do raise a very important point. When people have given up, we are in danger. We hope that is not the case. Thank you very much, Henry, for your submissions.
Thank you.